Welcome everyone to today's video. My name is Dimitar from the Dimitar Piano Duo. And in today's video, I'm going to practice and work a little bit on the Brahms Intermezzo Opus 118 number 2. We've had several different requests for me to make a video on this piece, providing with some ideas that I have about this piece. And so I thought, it's time to shoot this type of video. I haven't played the piece in a long time. I haven't practiced the piece in a long time. This morning I looked at the first page to see approximately what's going on with the piece. I don't know yet what exactly I'm going to share with you. I thought like a more spontaneous video would be nice also for you to see what I do. I would practice the piece the way I would practice it myself, and whatever ideas pop, I'll share them with you so you can use that in your own practice. Let's get started. For those of you who are watching for the first time and are new to the channel, I always start my practice sessions, no matter what piece, no matter if it's my own composing or pieces, existing pieces by the greats, with slow practice. And so that's what I'm going to do with this piece, because it makes me connect to the music. So I already have an idea. That's what happens when I practice. Ideas come and I want to work on them. But before I do that, I will try it in a little bit of a faster tempo, because I usually combine slow with a little bit of a faster tempo that's below my goal. In this case, this piece is not that fast, so my final tempo isn't going to be that much different. But I'm going to try this idea and then I'm going to share it with you. So one of the most important things for this practice session, because in every practice session something else happens, is if you look at the structure, the way that Brahms wrote this piece, if you look at the 8 notes, you will see a slur on top of each 8 notes. You will see like in the beginning, and then you would see, especially in the accompaniment, what I'm focused on right now is more in the accompaniment from the first bar when you have this, and then in the next bar you have, and then it keeps going into the next bar. Every 2 notes are combined together with this slur. And what I'm trying to achieve, what I thought immediately when I was practicing in slow tempo and I'm trying to achieve in a faster tempo, is to have that second note a little bit not slower, but the second note a little bit softer. Because I will show you the alternative. I'm going to try to exaggerate, and so you can see what happens if you don't play that second note softer. But it will make your piece with a much longer line, and it will make it much lighter, it will make it much more beautiful if you succeed making that second note softer. So now with this idea you can listen. Otherwise it will be instead of and not accompaniment you have very even. It's going to make the piece sound very heavy, and if I play only the accompaniment with the idea of a second note, and then you can also think of the piece, you can practice it. If you want that second note to succeed and be really softer, you can also practice the piece like this. Because actually that's what the structure of the piece is. Brahms added this second note to create a flow, and so the piece doesn't need that second note. You can very easily really play it like, but there's less of a flow than if you have and so what you need to understand is that if you have the first note a little bit louder and the second note a little bit softer, you get exactly this kind of structure. You still maintain the integrity of the structure of the piece the way it goes. And if you accent, or if you're not very skilled or you don't know about that, and if you accent that second note, the piece is going to drag. It's going to become slower. You're going to start dragging it, and it's not going to sound that good. Now, perhaps a useful, I was thinking what kind of a useful tip I can give you for the large, because there will be people that will not be able to catch this interval in the second bar. You have, and so I was thinking, let's imagine that I cannot catch that and that I have to break it but release the F sharp. What you want to do, let me see. Yeah. I think the best thing to do is you don't want to lose the F sharp from the pedal. You don't want to not catch it on the pedal. And so I would try to change the pedal on the F sharp, and then that will sound better than if you do, because you see we miss this F sharp. Is really important, so I would recommend that you catch it on the pedal, and then you will be able to hear the whole harmony. Or what you can do is perhaps that, I don't know if that sounds very nice, let's see. I don't like it as much. I personally would take first the F sharp, change the pedal, and then catch the upper note with the lower note. So you have two options. One is to change the pedal, catch the F sharp, catch it on the pedal, that's in a very slow motion, and then play the rest after that. So we have the F sharp on the pedal. The other option is to do this, to play the F sharp together with the bass. That's also possible. You can do that as well, because then you capture the F sharp together with the bass. And the third option is to play the F sharp on the previous pedal from the previous bar and then change, but I wouldn't do that because you just miss this beautiful coloring. So that's what I would, and then what I would say would work very well for your hands if you cannot play the interval together, is to practice to be able to do it as quickly as possible, to practice something like, and then stop on this note, on the last 8th note, and just do it because then that will give you don't necessarily need to do that when you play, but if you have the skill of being able to break it quickly, you'll be able to time it according to what you like and how it sounds good, because you will not feel limited by skills and you will not need to take a lot of time to break the interval. So I would really practice it as quickly as possible to be able to catch that interval. And the last tip that now that I'm involved in the piece, the last tip I would give you is to end your phrases. If you look at bar, I have bars here in my score, that's bar 5, so we come. This last note, make sure that you don't, because then you continue into the second phrase and you want to go into that second phrase in a very subtle way, and in order to get into a subtle way, in order to begin the second phrase, the end of bar 4, to begin it gently, you also need to end it gently, otherwise it sounds a little weird. So make sure that you have, and then you begin. The same is later here. Sorry, that's, and then, because then you have pianissimo. So you want to work on the ending of the phrases. So I would work on those things. I would practice in this piece generally being able, when you have the slurs between 2 8 notes, to work on the slurs on the second notes to be a little bit softer. It needs to be in context, of course. If you're going to play completely second note, completely soft, it isn't going to make any sense. What I mean is a little softer than the first. You are going to create a long line, then end your phrases. Make sure that you follow also the big slurs, those indicate phrasing, and the big interval that you need to break if you can't catch it. If you can, by the way, I would recommend trying to catch it. If you have the flexibility and if your hand is barely big enough to do it, I would say train that, because you would only benefit from that. So if you have barely big enough hand or big enough hand to catch it, catch it. If you don't, work on being able to break it as quickly as possible.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What would you advise? Because Brahms, and in general this piece, but Brahms in general writes pretty complex, because this is a slow piece. It's not very technical. It's not a very virtuosic piece or anything. It's in that sense not very difficult, but it is difficult to read actually. Do you have any? Yeah. Do you have any recommendation? Because it's an overwhelming amount of notes for students.
I would like I did previously when I showed you combining the notes. I would actually break it into chords, put the notes together, then you have the second. That's actually the same chord, so you would understand what's going on. Then I would practice it in chords. So don't only look at the piece horizontally, look at the piece also a little bit vertically, and you would combine the notes together, and you would feel much more comfortable when you look at it. You're basically looking at the piece from a different side, from a different angle. Instead of like this, you're going to really look at it like this and see the combination of notes. Yeah, I think that's what you can do. And listen, if you guys have any questions, like not in depth necessarily, but if you have any questions more specific with spots in this piece or any other piece that you have trouble with and that you don't understand or you don't know how to practice, that give you trouble, I would answer you with great pleasure, and I'll make a video for you with great pleasure, because I really enjoy solving problems. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, because you help us grow that way. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you like. You can follow us there. We try to upload very regularly. And for me, recording this video, as always, was a great pleasure. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week again.